Okay, buddy. I took care of that land. Yes, we're going to keep things crazy. I knew that would make you happy. After years of silence, Eustace Conway has finally spoken. He is the guy who left modern society to live as the last American man. Just now, he showed up suddenly and emotionally, and he told facts that no one saw coming. Eustace lived deep in the Appalachians for many years, rarely talking to people from other places. He just said something that could change everything we thought we knew about his strange life. He talks about everything from fights with the government to confessions he's never made before. Eustace's words have the weight of years spent alone. This isn't just another report about the wilderness. He said something that could change his whole reputation. Before we tell you what he said, make sure you subscribe and watch all the way to the end. What you're about to hear could be Eustace Conway's most revealing moment. For many years, Eustace Conway's life seemed to be the best example of freedom and independence. His house, Turtle Island Preserve, is thousands of acres deep in the Appalachian wilderness. He built it from the ground up with his bare hands. People from other places thought it looked like paradise, a real-life example of how to live in balance with nature. What most people didn't know was how close it all was to falling apart. In the early 2000s, Turtle Island was being looked into by the state government for possible code violations. Inspectors said that his cabins, barns, and outdoor schools that he built by hand were not safe by today's standards. They didn't get that his buildings were more than just structures. The purpose of these living lessons was to show how people used to live before power and concrete. After the fight, he was almost broken. For months, Eustace had to deal with fines and legal threats all the time. Some nights, he sat by the fire and wondered if the society he had tried to leave would destroy all of his hard work. Still, he never fought back in public. He didn't go on a rant on TV or file cases to get people to feel sorry for him. He kept quiet instead and went deeper into the woods. Being quiet wasn't a sign of weakness. I had to stay alive. Behind that calm, rough face was a man who had lost faith in the world he used to try to make better. He later said that the mental cost was too much to bear. He felt lied by a system that punished him for living in the wild. The world saw a quiet man in the mountains, but he was really a fighter with scars that no one could see. For many years, those fights formed the man who would one day stand in front of the world again and speak. When Eustace finally spoke, his voice was filled with years of pain, knowledge, and thought. A lot of people didn't expect what he said first. Some people think I chose to be alone because I dislike people. I really did try to save it. Those words shocked everyone who heard them. He finally said that his silence was never an attempt to get away. It had to do with watching. Eustace had told them that he was sick of yelling at people who wouldn't listen. Turtle Island was supposed to teach people about what they had lost and be a holy place to remember that. But he saw people treat it like a tourist site instead, not realizing the message in the dirt under his nails, the smoke rising from his campfire, and the pictures he was taking. He talked about the years he spent by himself, talking only to the trees, the wind, and the animals. He said that he found nature to be more honest than people. That has changed him. It made him smarter but more alone. He said he stopped talking because the world changed his words into something he didn't understand every time he tried. He said in a low voice, "I wasn't hiding. I was hearing the earth, the quiet, and the things that people had forgotten." His words made me think of a man who was watching the earth die while people rushed towards chaos. There were changes in even simple things like the songs of birds and the flow of the seasons, as if nature itself was calling for help. During those years of being alone, Eustace saw more than just the world getting worse. It was a decline in spirit. He stated, "The further we get from nature, the further we get from ourselves." For him, being quiet was a way to protest, a way to say something bigger than words. Now, for the first time, he's all set to sing again. Not to put down, but to warn. He said that things have changed in the world, but not for the better. And if we don't pay attention, the quiet he used to live in could turn into the earth's silence. Eustace Conway couldn't bring himself to talk about his family for years. The thoughts of them were like a wound that he kept hidden. He finally talked about the deep emotional scars that shaped him long before Turtle Island existed in his most recent remark. He said that his relationship with his dad wasn't at all calm. His strict and demanding father thought that the only way to build character was through rules and discipline. As a child, Eustace always felt like what he did wasn't good enough. Every accomplishment and skill he learned was met with disapproval instead of joy. He felt like he had to prove his worth all the time, not by getting rich or famous, but by mastering nature. He said in a soft voice, "The woods didn't judge me. They took me in when no one else would." The woods became his safe place, a spot where his flaws didn't define him. He learned to stay alive, both physically and mentally, there, among the trees and rivers. But not many people knew that his choice to withdraw into nature wasn't just a way to rebel. It was a vacation. He said that the first time he left home, he was angry at the man who never understood him and didn't say anything about it. For years, his anger made him feel even more alone. It took him a while, though, to change his mind. His pride and anger were washed away by living in nature, which taught him that forgiveness wasn't just for other people. It was his. He recently told them that he's been quietly getting back in touch with old friends and family members who thought he was gone for good. He even talked about getting in touch with younger family members to teach them before it's too late. Always be with someone, he told her. Even a tree needs the forest. Few people had ever seen a side of Eustace that those words showed. No, not just the scholar or survivalist, the man who had finally come to terms with his past. He seemed ready to fix the things he had broken for the first time, not for glory or to be forgiven, but to put things to rest. After years of silence, Eustace was asked why he chose this time to break it. His answer sent chills through the crowd. "Since time is running out." The tone of his voice was steady, but tense with need. His words were not about himself. The world was what he was talking about. Eustace said that in the many years he's lived on Turtle Island, the world has changed in ways that can't be ignored anymore. The springs used to be clean, but now they have a faint chemical smell. Trees that have been around for a long time are dying faster than ever. Bird flight and flower bloom times are not happening at the same time as they should. In his eyes, it's a message that the earth is sick and people are to blame. He said that we've switched from dirt to screens and that we think we're making progress. He thought of silence as a way of look into it. Patterns in the weather, land erosion, and animal behavior had been interesting to him. He even wrote about small changes over the years in diaries. He was scared by the patterns. Storms happened out of season, winters became less predictable, and animal tracks changed from where they naturally were. He knew these weren't just random events, they were the results. It was the land itself, he said, but not enough people were listening. Be careful, the earth is patient, he said, but even patience runs out. He spoke in a harsher voice as he said that modern society had lost respect for nature. For example, he talked about how greed destroys forests, overconsumption ruins rivers, and pride makes people think they can handle everything. Earth doesn't need us. She's been telling us over and over that we need her, he said. It wasn't political in his message. It was about them. He talked like he had seen the world fall apart from his own backyard. The years of peace and quiet weren't an escape. They were thoughts. He's now standing up to sound the alarm because he's had enough. He said that if things keep going this way, I used to live in silence, but now it will be the quiet of death. Even people who didn't agree with him couldn't say anything in reaction to what he said. There was no plan for Eustace Conway to become a TV star. He didn't want to become famous when he first went on Mountain Men. He saw it as a chance to share his message of living simply and staying alive. But what started out as a way to learn quickly turned into something he couldn't handle. In the conversation, he said that the attention he got from TV almost destroyed the quiet life he had built for himself. He said, "People watched me, but they weren't really seeing me." When the film teams got to Turtle Island, they set up lights, cables, and schedules that got in the way of his normal life. Millions of people who wanted entertainment instead of truth turned the simplicity he loved into a show. He talked about being stuck between two worlds, the wild, natural place he loved and the made-up one the crowd wanted. He told them that the more they shot, the less real it seemed. He even said that there were times when he thought about leaving the show altogether and going back to being quiet. But something stopped him. What he said, there was hope for him in letters from fans, many of whom were young people. They wrote about how his way of life made them want to build, grow, and get back in touch with nature. Those words helped him remember that not everyone had forgotten what was important. He put up with it because he wanted his word to reach at least one person who needed it. Still, fame hurt her. Eustace talked about how tiring it was to be watched all the time and have strangers come to Turtle Island without being asked, just to take pictures with him like he was a museum exhibit. "I never wanted to be well known," he said. "I wished I could help." The media changed his story over time, making him a sign instead of a person. He kept his feet on the ground, though. He wouldn't join the society of celebrities or act like someone he wasn't. He's made it clear that living off the land in a trend after years of seeing people love the outdoors on TV and in films. "It's true," he said, "that you miss the lesson if all you do is watch me stay alive." The tone of Eustace's voice changed, and he talked about something much more personal than his land or his purpose. He talked about the people he'd lost for the first time in his life. He looked at the ground and said, "You don't build a life like this without burying a few friends." Men and women who came to Turtle Island full of faith and emotion were told stories by him. They were people who wanted to help him build a dream based on truth and freedom. They stayed for weeks or years, but not all of them made it out safe. He said that a number of close friends had died in terrible accidents in the early days of the site, lost because of harsh winters, smashed by logs, or washed away by storms. He got scars from all of them. "Every tree around here, it comes back to me," he said. "Every stone reminds me of someone who gave everything for this place." His next story was about an old woodsman who taught him a lot, but disappeared one winter deep in the forest and was never seen again. He looked for him for years but couldn't find him.